Imagine this. You're a passionate game developer standing at the crossroads of your career, itching to break free from the monotonous 9 to 5 grind and leap into the exhilarating world of full-time indie game development. It's like a scene out of a thrilling blockbuster, right? But before you fasten your seatbelt, brace yourself for the reality check that a full-time game dev lifestyle may be far from the idyllic picture you've been fed. What happens when you say goodbye to the cubicle, pour your heart into your game masterpiece, and then, well, let's just say reality pulls the rug out from underneath you? Suddenly your finances are in turmoil. Stability. We're about to delve deep into the unfiltered truth of taking that daring leap into full-time development. So prepare to have your assumptions challenged, because this video is the uncensored guide that you're going to need to make that transition. So we're going to start off with passion and pragmatism. Picture this. The game development journey is a labyrinth of creativity and determination, but diving into full-time indie development isn't just about crafting games. It's about understanding the stark reality of the industry. As you venture into this realm, remember that your passion is just one part of that equation. Making a leap means marrying your creative drive with the cold, hard business decisions to stay afloat. As the market swells with indie releases, some advice may sound like sweet symphonies, but lead to harsh reality. Truth? The indie game market is becoming increasingly competitive and will not let every ship sail. While you dream of quitting your day job, the harsh reality is that many indie games fail by the wayside. Data from 2022 in this Chris Zukowski article you can find in the description kind of shows that a lot more indie games are being produced every year, not exponentially, but more. And they're not really ever an increasing amount of those indie games getting lots of reviews. And reviews are sort of what's known as a box letter way of knowing how many games were sold, because we don't always have that data. But guessing based off of reviews, it looks like the numbers of indie games getting lots of reviews and making lots of sales is not going up, but the number of releases is going up. So now we're going to talk about why that's so important. And that comes down to balancing your cash flow and your dreams. So with indie games, one of the most important things you have to remember is cash flow, because cash flow and profitability are the unsung heroes on your indie endeavor. Your game studio needs cash flow to fuel growth, hire talent, promote your creations, but it's the elusive profitability that ensures your ship stays afloat in the stormy sea of indie development. Yet making money doesn't necessarily guarantee artistic fulfillment. Consider that this is sort of like your financial reality check before embarking, in that sometimes the money has to take importance over the creativity to make sure people get paid. Indie games basically are one of the most important ways we celebrate creativity, because anyone can make an indie game. But going full-time introduces new players into the mix. One of the biggest ones being a business mindset. It's something that you have to consider every time you make a decision about your game. The harmony between the artistic expression and the financial viability can be elusive, which makes a lot of people fail. A lot of people lean too hard one way or the other, and you get games that are either way too business-minded and are basically cash grabs that are blatant and people don't buy them, or they're extremely creative but maybe just aren't as popular because the artist couldn't afford to really get the name out there, and therefore they flop because no one knew about the game. So before taking this plunge, ask yourself, are you ready to prioritize profits over personal preferences? And are you also willing to sometimes sacrifice those profits to make sure that you tell the story you want to tell? Next up, we're going to talk about evading burnout and regret. This kind of feeds back into that sort of, making profits. With that, you're going to be focused on the business side. And so with that, full-time indie development isn't really a stroll in a park. It's a marathon. And while that passion is important to have and it can drive you forward, it can also push you to the brink of burnout. And when the financial road gets rocky, that emotional toil can become overwhelming, especially if you're already making business decisions to do certain things a certain way that you personally don't necessarily care for. And now, while that's not a game over, it's definitely a cautionary tale of you need to understand that this is going to happen. It happens to every game development individual who goes, any indie who goes out and tries to start going full time. As you're getting ready to go, instead of leaping headfirst, consider maybe making strategic approaches. Instead of going full-time indie dev straight off the bat, maybe venture into the indie world while still maintaining a safety net with your current job. For example, learning the ropes and experiencing highs and lows and assessing whether this path aligns with your aspirations. Your mental well-being is paramount. So by doing it in small pieces, by, maybe spending 10 hours a week while still working your full-time day job, you might be able to figure out this is for me. I do enjoy it, and I'm able to make money doing it. I've released 2 or 3 games while only working full-time at my regular job. And you're like, okay, I've got a steady source of income from my games, and I've now got enough money that I can comfortably quit and do this full time. But if you're not there, you shouldn't take that risk. The indie game dev journey is important to explore, and I think it's definitely worth exploring, but we have to tread carefully when talking about full-time development. A lot of YouTubers like to push the you should totally go full-time. I did it. You should just jump right into it. Let's do this full-time all the time. You get indie devs who are pushing classes on how to go full-time, how to start a studio. And while I understand that they're trying to help people accomplish their dream, and it's definitely an important thing to do, so don't necessarily just take my word and just quit your dream. I think it's important to also be realistic about this. And there's a lot of people who are going to fail. There's a lot of people who do fail all the time. And because of that, you've got to kind of find that middle ground of I can comfortably do this, Like, yes, if you fail, it doesn't necessarily mean you're homeless, but in a tougher job market like we have right now, it's hard to find a job. So giving up on a 9 to 5 job that you have that's a steady income to just go full blown into indie dev without any guarantee of making money is a very risky proposition. And so this path that I'm kind of recommending, that middle ground, is sort of a bridge between aspirations and financial stability. And I think it's a really important thing that more and more YouTubers should be pushing for, instead of pushing for you should totally go into indie dev. That is basically it for today. Kind of wanted to talk about that. I felt like there's been a lot of videos lately of people being like, oh, just jump into it, that I wanted to kind of say this, speak my piece. So if you found this video insightful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to share it with your fellow aspiring game devs. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to receive more content like this. But until next time, good luck and good hunting.